We have a new installment of Cheap versus Expensive using Guild today. We are stacking up the chocolate cake of acoustic guitars, the D-55, against the DS-240, so stick around. You're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, buy something from us, or visit our Teespring store link below for custom design t-shirts. So it is cheap versus expensive, or as manufacturers would prefer, affordable versus expensive, but you catch our drift. We are comparing two great acoustic guitars, both from Guild. One is a more affordable option, the one I have, the DS-240, and then one is considerably more expensive, but one of our favorites, and we finally have one.
Yep.
It's the D-55.
Yeah, been a few years since we had one of these. I wasn't able to play the chocolate cake the last time it came in, but Chris did lovingly give this the chocolate cake name, which he did a great review on this. You can check out linked above, because that's just a nice overview of this guitar. But I mean, what a interesting, almost rare for us to see kind of piece that, you know, it's hard to get anything rosewood these days. But
It's interesting. So D-55s were difficult to get before the pandemic. We'd order one, it'd take a while to come in. And now, you know, everything's worsened, so it is what it is. But, you know, it was originally, I think you were saying it was a custom order when they first started. This is back when Guild was a different Guild than they are today. Still Guild, but you know what I mean. Long, long time ago.
the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah. That's right. They had Brad Pitt back there in his 20s just sawing away.
Yeah.
No, so, you know, it was a special order, but now it is really the flagship. It's the top of the line guitar in their lineup with all of these special appointments, the accoutrements that go along with it. And I find it to be one of the best sounding big rosewood dreadnought guitars. And thus we dubbed it the chocolate cake, because chocolate cake is rich. You know, you get that bite of moist chocolate cake with chocolate icing, and you need a glass of milk to go with it. This is a guitar that needs a glass of milk.
Interesting enough, you know, you got to be rich to get one.
There's financing.
Yeah,
there's financing.
I mean, so much going on. Did I ever tell you about the Maurice chocolate cake thing?
No.
So Maurice, talked about him on the channel, salesman extraordinaire, the mascot and face of Alamo Music guitar sales.
Yes.
One of the first times I got to play live somewhere, he was playing a show. I got to sit in with him.
Yeah.
And
how old were you?
I think I was probably like 12 or 13, maybe, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we played some old blues stuff. You know, it was a good time. But at the bar that we were at, you know, my parents took me and they were like, "We got to buy Maurice a drink." We're like, "What do you want, dude?" He's like, "Chocolate cake." And they thought like, "Oh, he wants a piece of cake," you know. But no,
but that was a cocktail.
It was a shot. Yeah, that had all this crap in it, and it was like a sugar bomb. And he was down in chocolate cakes like nobody's business that night. But
sounds about right.
All night he's just jamming, and he'd take the shot and go, "Chocolate cake, yeah."
Enough of that, and any guitar sounds like chocolate cake.
Yeah, no, he sounded great that night. But that's what I think of when I think of chocolate cake. Now I think of this guitar as well. Both old classics, Maurice and the D-55.
There you go. They are classic.
Yeah.
Definitely. Vintage.
If you get one of these, celebrate with a chocolate cake shot. But rosewood wise, it's been hard to get anything. There's a little bit of a shortage going on, and
not because there's a lack of rosewood trees, but they're all in India. That's why it's called Indian rosewood.
Yeah.
And you know, in fact, it's plantation rosewood. It's very well managed, but it comes on ship on the West Coast, and there's a bit of a backlog over there right now.
So to just full transparency, it's nice to get a big old rosewood dreadnought because it's been a while since I've gotten to hold one of this caliber. But this is a great option for anybody that's maybe interested in a D-35 or a D-28, HD-28, you know.
I think this compares very favorably to an HD-35. We had a customer call looking for chocolate cake. We didn't have any, and the alternative I suggested was an HD-35, which is also there. They're a little different. The HD-35 is, in some respects, even richer because it's a bigger, fuller sound. The bass on this is different because of the bracing, and we can get into that. But this sits kind of between an HD-28 and an HD-35. Yeah. It's not as big as an HD-35, you know, which means it doesn't have all that woofy. It's a little bit more controlled, but not as much as a HD28 is. It's just a and it's a beautiful looking guitar. Appointment wise,
I love the
it's a
headstock
looker
so much.
The shield, yeah.
Shield. You got the gold open geared tuners, and what's this called? Is this the
split diamond or split
block?
Block inlay? Yeah.
Really cool with the mother of pearl and the abalone and the.
Because if you can't decide between mother of pearl and abalone, you just get both.
You get both, you know. But the DS-240 and a lot of that series we've been really impressed with.
Memoir
Guild as well.
series, yeah. We did a review on this, which you can also link to, and we just gave it glowing reviews because it's a great guitar on its own, and then when you factor in the price that it's at, it's an affordable guitar that plays and really sounds great and has a fantastic vintage look to it. You were talking about the vintage acumen of that guitar. This doesn't have that history, and yet they're reaching back to really give you these style appointments. That burst is really fantastic. The script, that is my favorite Guild logo. This might be my second favorite Guild logo.
Yeah.
Because it's just so cool, and I don't even think it's like historic for them.
I saw a comment a while back when we did that video that said there was a certain guitar that they put something similar on, but I think it was pretty rare run.
Yeah, I remember way back when they had the Orpheum stuff. It might have been on that, or it's very reminiscent of it. But yeah, this is just a really fantastic guitar. Huge difference in the construction of these. That's a square shoulder dreadnought. This is a round shoulder dreadnought. Solid top only on this, scalped X bracing, all solid. And then the bracing on that is a bit of a secret weapon.
Give me the scoop on the bracing.
It's Adirondack. So Addy bracing, or Adirondack bracing, is a little bit springier. If you use Adirondack on the top of a guitar, it's a very loud cannon-like guitar, but it can be kind of tight when it's new. When Adirondack is used for bracing on a Sitka spruce top, I think you get a lot of that same benefit because it just has this really fast response that works really well for bracing. I have 2 custom guitars that I opted for that bracing for that reason. It's just fast. It doesn't matter if the top is Sitka, cedar, redwood, whatever. It has an impact on how it responds. And I think that's part of the richness that goes with this guitar.
Playing these back and forth today, there's something to be said, even though that is laminate back and sides, even just kind of the sound of this guitar versus solid rosewood. I mean, it's such a different tonal spectrum, and I really like that guitar too. I think that it would probably be great for somebody who's into maybe Epiphone J45 kind of style or something, I think.
Or if you just want, I think someone buying a guitar that's in this price point, it's their main guitar, this is a fantastic guitar. I also think it works really well for someone who is concerned about something that's a little too precious.
Yeah.
I see it, a lot of people are always surprised when I say, I take my guitars out and play with them, because that's why I bought them. And it's like you have a multi-$1,000 guitar on stage. Because that's why I bought it. But I get that for some people that's a little too much. It's a little too nerve-wracking. And so having something that you're taking out to go camp or to the beach or to the backyard or to gigs or something, this really kind of hits above its weight class.
Yeah, so give me a round price area on this, because I know stuff's going up, but I'm pretty sure last time I checked it was under 500.
Right at 500, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one right under 4,000.
It's a little bit more expensive, but it is within. I will say this: it's within the ballpark of every other American-made rosewood dreadnought like this, and this has much nicer appointments than many of those guitars. And so, if you were pegging this around, I don't know, a Martin with similar appointments, it would be more expensive than this Guild. And that's always been, I think, part of Guild's attraction. They're one of the American brands that's been around for a long time. They've had changes of ownership over the years. Right now they're part of Cordoba Music Group, where I think they found a really good home. Previous Fender had them and, had a okay relationship with Fender, but I think they've really, been able to grow with Cordoba, and we're seeing some great stuff that's come out of it.
Yeah.
So they've been around for a long time. I know plenty of people that have old 60s Guilds. They were a really big part of that folk movement. So they fit that kind of world of Gibson and Martin, but they've always, I think, filled that void of we're a little bit more affordable than the other guys, but our stuff is just as good or better than. And so yeah, I think some people are sleeping on Guild.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, but we're gonna put them through their paces. Honestly, Cooper's gonna put them through their paces because he's been doing all of our cheap, expensive comparisons. So you can hear for yourself the difference that several $1,000s can buy you. Check it out. So there you have it. We've now switched guitars, and you got to hear them for yourself. The DS-240, D-55, dramatically different guitars from the same builder with huge difference in price point. You could buy, I don't know, we didn't do the math, 25 of them? Not that many, but a lot.
Yeah, you could almost squeeze 10 in there, I think. But the thing is, so I saw something that now I keep putting through the lens of, when I look at guitars. I saw a Kawai that we had on the website, and in the copy it had said something about it's the piano for those who know. It was kind of a sleeper in their line, and I think that that's a good description for both of these to a certain extent. I think Guild in general. In this price point, if you're looking at HD 35s and you're looking at even some Gibson stuff and all that, where everything, no matter what, it's going to be over $3,000.
Yeah.
I think the D-55 is the Rosewood Dreadnought for those who know, and I think in the mid-range price point, which this isn't necessarily a cheap guitar. Some other manufacturers we can, maybe with Yamaha or Fender,
we can
look at
$200
$200 or $300 guitars. Yeah. This is still, a nice step-up guitar. It's not going to be the ultimate, entry-level guitar, but in the maybe $400 to $700 range, this is probably the guitar for those who know. I think, I think it's a really good choice.
Particularly with that aesthetic to it, and the great sound and playability that you get. One thing that we can't really convey effectively on video is the playing experience. Not all guitars kind of right out of the box play well, so to speak. And we don't do any setup or change. We play these guitars as we get them because we want to demonstrate for you what it is, from the factory. And so what we tend to find, not universal, is that as you go up in price, the setup typically gets better. I think that's the case with most builders. Some are consistent across the board because of the way they manufacture their stuff. But both of these guitars are set up and play really, really well.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference in the tone that you're going to get. And over time, this one's going to open up more than that one is.
Yeah.
That one will still change because the top's solid. But this one's, this is an heirloom lifetime instrument, and that's a great, to your point, kind of intermediate entry-level guitar.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'd definitely love to expand our Guild collection a little bit. Typically, what we get, we really like. We've seen other 240s like the OM240 that have been great. We got the baritones in, and they went immediately before we could even do a video.
Didn't even get to do a video for you guys. Yeah.
But those were incredible. I know we've got some more on the way. They're just really nice guitars, especially for, you want to add something a little different to the collection. It's nice to, have something accessible that's going to perform really well.
Did I ever tell you my first kind of high-end guitar experience was with a Guild?
Really?
Yeah. When I was in high school, I grew up in the Rio Grande Valley, deep South Texas. Not a whole lot of music stores to be had when I was in high school in the 90s. Certainly nothing. I mean, I remember the most expensive acoustic guitar I saw in a store was an Ovation with like gold tuners and a blue top with the epaulettes and all that stuff. But a friend of mine's dad had an old Guild Jumbo, maple back and sides from probably the 70s.
Nice.
And I was getting into guitar. He was the first guy that said, Rod Bishop, if he ever watches this, he was like, hey, check out Phil Keaggy. I'm like, who? There was no Spotify or Apple Music or anything. And then I bought a Phil Keaggy CD. And then one night at their house, he uncases this Guild and hands it to me, and I was just super impressed.
That's very cool.
It was quite a step up from the entry-level Yamaha I'd been playing to that point. So, I've always been impressed with their guitars. There's one, I've said this in the past videos, Guild, make a version with a 1 3/4 inch nut width. That's all I'm asking. This is 1/11/16, that's 1/11/16. A lot of people, that's what they want. I'm so used to just the 1/16 of an inch wider that that's what I want. So
yeah, you can't please everybody, all right?
Can't please everybody, but anyways.
But this could probably, both of these could please a lot of people.
I say that, and it's comfortable to play.
Yeah, it is comfortable. It's got its own kind of profile too on that.
Yeah,
neck.
I think that's part of it. Is it doesn't feel as narrow as some other one in 11/16 nets. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool because obviously the moral of every cheap versus expensive, ideally, is the expensive one is well worth it. Which it is, but most of the time we get to also show off something that's a little more entry level, maybe not entry level, but something on the lower end of the spectrum that can still impress a lot of people. So
the moral of the story is, if you know, you know, and if you got the dough, get this one.
Yo.
And if you don't,
it's a great choice.
You can't go wrong with that one either. So
yeah.
That's good
for
the
me.
takeaway?
Yeah, that's good for me.
Well, if you have any questions on either of these guitars, make sure you visit our website, alamomusic.com. And if you have any experiences with Guild yourself or opinions on these guitars, let us know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and remember, the very best guitar in the world is the one that you're playing, regardless of how much it costs, as long as it's not a blue piece of junk from Amazon that we've reviewed in the past. Check that video out. So, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.